Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another Dinkum video. Today I have even more tips and tricks for you. If you do end up enjoying the video, be sure to dink the like and subscribe buttons. That helps me out a ton. Now let's jump into this. Okay, so the first tip is to use your metal detector. Now you'll need to purchase the license for this from Fletch, just as you do with any other tool. And once you do, you run around and click, and the sounds and the indicators on the ground will guide you to some buried treasure. Now, buried in these spots, you will find items like old keys, gears, and wheels, to shiny discs, keyboards, batteries, headphones, just basically all kinds of tech items. Some of the items will be loose, and some will be in barrels, which typically have about 3 items in them, or you might find these recycle bins, which are ideal because they seem to have the most items with about 4 or 5. Now, if you get really lucky, you may even dig up a big chunk of amber, which you will have to carry back to John's shop to weigh it, and he'll likely give you a pretty generous offer depending on how much that chunk happens to weigh. Now I've been playing quite a bit, and I think I've only found about 3 pieces of amber. It does range from about 45,000, and I think the highest offer I got was about 80. I have also done a ton of metal detecting, just collecting all of the hidden treasure items I possibly can. And I typically end up selling at least 100,000 dink worth of items in likely less than an hour, with the biggest haul being about 500,000 dink. Now the game gets really expensive as you progress and unlock more and more items and licenses, so being able to get that much money that quick is a huge deal. Now while all that money is amazing to see stack up in your dink account, the second tip is do not sell everything. Most of the items you find metal detecting aren't super rare, and they're okay to sell a few if you want to make some extra money, but there are a couple items you should really hang on to. I have found that the bright wires and the shiny discs are good items to keep in your storage and probably not sell right away, and possibly even the old contraptions, which are basically the engine looking items. The bright wires and old contraptions seem to be really hard to come by for how many you end up needing, which we'll talk about in a second. There's also a vendor named Franklin who seems to be a bit of an inventor, and he'll buy up all of your shiny discs at a premium rate. Without spoiling, bringing him more and more of those discs will unlock new equipment for you to purchase that is really exciting. Now, as you can see, selling all these items would have given me quite the haul, being just shy of 500,000 dink. But a lot of the recipes call for most of the items you find metal detecting. As you expand your community, you are definitely going to want to have a lot of these items handy so you don't have any issues crafting anything. Another item I would not sell right away is one I randomly stumbled upon in my town called a thunder egg. The thunder egg spawns during storms where lightning touches the ground. I didn't know what to do with the egg, so I immediately took it to John and threw it on the scale. He then offered me 80,000 dink for it, so I knew it had to be something special and that I probably shouldn't sell it right away. So I did what you do with anything you think is valuable and took it outside and started beating it with my pickaxe. It took quite a while, but once I broke it, opal popped out. Now I was curious if I had made a mistake by not selling the egg, as I had 4 opal pop out, and at only 15,000 dink per opal, I lost about 20,000. Since I still haven't found a use for the opal yet, I've been hanging on to them for now. The third tip is to reactivate the communicators as soon as you can. Now, if you've been wandering around a bit, you may have noticed the tall communicator towers off in the distance, or you may have even walked up to one. It will tell you it is broken and that it requires a number of items to repair it. Now, if you have made it this far in the video, you can see why you may not want to sell all of the items you find metal detecting, like we talked about earlier. Most of these items are fairly easy to find, with the bright wires and the occasional green board being the exceptions. Now you may wonder why you would want to spend your time repairing these towers, and this is simply because it's going to make your life a lot easier, as these will actually allow you to fast travel back and forth between the towers. Once you have placed all the items in the tower to repair it, step inside and you will be able to select any other towers you have also repaired and travel to that location in seconds. Of course, this means you will need to have repaired at least 2 of them for this to actually be functional. This is really convenient because the map is actually pretty decent size, and you may not be feeling like walking all the way across the map to get back to base. Also, a side note to add, if you do end up finding something you carry over your head, like the thunder egg we saw earlier or a piece of amber, you can still fast travel while carrying it with no problems. The fourth tip may seem like a silly one, but it has greatly helped me out to keep the items organized in these wooden crates. In the short time this has been out, I have put in more hours than I care to admit, and I still continuously find new items every day, and keeping them in groups really helps me know where I can find things, as it can and will likely get confusing when starting out. As you can see in this crate, I have all of my ore and bars, as well as logs and planks for any of my crafting needs. In the second crate is basically my key items box, where I throw everything that I find once I get back from metal detecting and looking for treasure. Notice how many bright wires I have in here. Yeah, it's none, because I can never find them. The third crate I have here, I will actually call tip 4A. Buy spare tools to keep handy. I basically keep an extra set of tools in here because you can and will break tools in this game, and when you do, the chances of the shop being closed when you actually need another tool are high. Now, I just started keeping this fourth crate, so it's a little empty, but I do now keep a crate specifically for food and ingredients. You will most likely be cooking all kinds of food all the time, and keeping a lot of extra spare food is an absolute must. You need food for stamina and health every time you go out to mine or go out on any kind of adventures. Keeping a crate full of food will save you a lot of time and headache. I do also keep my animal food in here, as I do currently have 2 chooks, or chickens, named Cluck Norris and Hillary Fluff. The fifth, but certainly not least tip, is to carry a sleeping bag. This may be one of the most underrated tips I can give you. If you somehow do not have the sleeping bag that you started with in the beginning, you can always go back to the base tent, and Fletch will allow you to take a sleeping bag for free. The reason I think you should always carry a sleeping bag, especially early on, is there will be times where it will start to get late, and you'll be out of stamina and food, and you don't want to pass out because you will lose money and return back to base. So if you lose track of time or your food and stamina, you can throw the sleeping bag down, sleep, wake up the next day refreshed right where you left off. Not to mention, when you play with friends, the last thing they want to do is wait for you to come all the way back to base camp so that you can sleep and progress to the next day. So trust me, your friends will thank you. And if you don't have friends to play with and you really want to check out the multiplayer, my Discord is filled with people that are playing this, and we would love to have you. That link is in the description below. Also, be sure to check out my first video for more Dinkum tips. If you happen to miss it, the link will be down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video and did find it helpful, please be sure to dink the like and subscribe buttons. It is free and truly helps me reach my goals. Leave a comment and let me know if you would like to see more Dinkum videos or streams, or leave your favorite emoji in the comments, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace!